Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day, a man came up to me and asked me.
Good Monday morning. 3 SEC teams headed to Omaha. College World Series. That's at the moment. There's still a chance for one more to go, which half the field could be from the SEC. Pretty darn impressive. Game 5, critical tonight with the series tied at 2-2. It's Boston. It's Golden State. Can't wait for that one. Rory McIlroy won his 21st PGA tournament yesterday and took a little dig at Greg Norman and the LIV. The commissioner had some interesting things to say. We should have a good time. A different winner. Now, this is the 4th straight year. That's the first time since 1926 through 29 where the Triple Crown had 3 different winners, and it's 4 years in a row after the horse Modangle was your winner. Mo Donegal. No horse competed in all 3. There is a real problem. And we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes with our friend Paul Rogers, our analyst on the Triple Crown, voice of the Louisville Cardinals. TJ Reeves will join us. Okay, his Lightning are poised. This is their 3rd straight final. Nobody's three-peated in like forever. He'll talk about that and a whole lot more. So it will be a busy day today. You picked Golden State to win Game 4, but you've still picked the Celtics to win the series, right?
That's correct.
So who wins Game 5 tonight?
Your guess is as good as mine at this point. Boston. What's the old stat that everyone's saying is Boston hasn't lost back-to-back games in this playoffs yet. But going back to Golden State's tough. I think Boston wins, but this could be the rare Game 5 that's a Game 7.
Is this? I'm kind of confusing this, and I'm trying to remember. Maybe you do. I think with this win on Friday, the Golden State has now won a road game in 27 straight NBA playoffs.
That's correct.
Straight playoff series, 27. They've won at least one road game.
It's unbelievable.
That's incredible. I don't know how that could happen. It's amazing.
Well, they have enough championships to show for it, I guess, at this point.
The Golden State Warriors, by the way, are the 4-point favorites. Before we run out of time, because we are going to talk to Paul Rogers here in a little bit, let's give you some early precious metals. Tampa Bay, I already mentioned it, 3rd straight finals. They've won the last 2 Stanley Cups. They could get a 3-peat. Daniil Medvedev. You know who he is, don't you? Russian tennis player. Has become number 1. He passes Djokovic. I think it's the 2nd time he's done it. His first reign didn't last very long. I don't know if this one will either, because Wimbledon is 2 weeks away. And guess who can't play? Daniil Medvedev. Because Russian athletes have been barred from playing because of the war with Ukraine. And I'm a little torn about this because I don't believe Daniil Medvedev has anything to do with the Putin decision to be a monster. Okay? But how else do you send them a message, right? I mean, it's really a tough decision that has been made on barring these athletes. But he will not play at Wimbledon, which means that reign won't last long, particularly if Djokovic wins. If Rafael Nadal wins again, wouldn't that be so? He could win a Grand Slam. He could win a Grand Slam. He's got to win this one, though. Silver medal to SEC baseball despite the Tennessee loss. That's, believe this or not, it is the 3rd straight year that the number 1 overall seed in the College World Series did not make it to Omaha. How about this? So Tennessee, the number 1 overall seed, does not make it. The 64th team, the last team in, Ole Miss, does make it. And I know we'll be carrying those games, so you'll be able to hear David Kellum in his glory as they go to Omaha. I guess Mike Bianco has saved his job, right? If there was any doubt, he saved his job now. SEC baseball gets a silver medal, and then the gold goes to Rory. It was his 25th first tour win, and afterwards he said to CBS, "I now surpass a guy who should go unmentioned." And Jim Nantz was very quick to say, "That's Greg Norman." And then Rory, in his post-game press conference, identified Norman. And I really believe Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy have become the two spokespeople in the war with the LIV tournament. And it is interesting to watch Jay Monahan's comments yesterday about the LIV really being a series of exhibitions. Charles Schwartzel loves it. Whatever money he might have gotten guaranteed just to play, I don't know what that number is. We know Mickelson was $200 million. Most people think Dustin Johnson got at least $125 million. Whatever Charles Schwartzel got yesterday, he made almost $5 million, $4.75 million for playing in an exhibition. And who's going to win on that tour? The only guy you would think would be DJ, and he didn't play that well. Mickelson's awful. He's 51 years old. He hasn't played in a while. He's going to play in the U.S. Open next week. Will he get booed? Will Dustin Johnson? Will Patrick Reed, Bryson DeChambeau? They haven't played yet in the LIV, but they're going. Will Dustin Johnson and Phil Mickelson be booed at the Country Club of Brookline, Massachusetts? It'll be interesting to see. But Rory gets a gold medal from me, and partially because of the comments. I could give a rust to Justin Rose. I can't do it. A guy shot 60, but he could have had 59 or 58 yesterday, and I hate to say it. Now, those last finishing holes were tough. Just ask Justin Thomas, who went bogey, but he had chances to break 60. It would have been the Canadian Open record, and he just couldn't get the job done. But I can't give him a rust. Your positive medals?
Low scores yesterday, too. 10 under par, 8 under par. That's some really low scores.
Did you see at the when they made the cut, like the I'm trying to remember, but it was like over par just about that was the cut.
No, that's right. I believe it was.
And then at one point, they were yesterday alone. At one point, I think it got worse at the end of the day, but it was like 142 under. It was crazy for the field.
You're seeing like 69, 70 through the first 3 days, and then a bunch of 62s yesterday.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was unbelievable. And also, Ole Miss maybe got into the tournament. My bronze medal goes to the Rebels for going to Omaha now. Yeah. Essentially, talking to some of my Ole Miss baseball friends, they feel like that a weekday game against Mississippi State after that series, where they won a weekday game that counted as an SEC win, was the difference in even getting in the tournament or not getting in the tournament. And now they're going to Omaha. So unbelievable.
It is crazy.
Also have a rare positive bronze medal for the Rangers, who lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, but a young team, really a lot like the Grizzlies in terms of youth and experience.
That team blew a 2-love lead.
110 points this year? I mean,
it's the playoffs that count.
That's right.
They lost 4 in a row.
They did.
You're giving them a medal for losing 4 in a row?
Heck of a year, though. They got great things to come. My silver medal goes to Matt Carpenter, who started this season playing
incredible
minor league baseball. He's now hit 6 home runs in 10 games of signing with the Yankees. I can't believe how much the ball's popping off the bat.
Hold on.
Lefty's in a Little League park, though.
I just heard from Eli Savoy, and Savoy is always spot on with his stats, right? I don't think I've ever heard him cite the wrong numbers. That is the first time in the history of the New York Yankees, Babe Ruth, Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle,
Gehrig,
DiMaggio,
Carpenter.
Matt Carpenter is the first Yankee in the history of the game. Forget those murderers row of the 20s. The first Yankee ever to hit 6 home runs in the first 10 games. That's incredible. And the guy was in the minor leagues. He was a Cardinal wash-up.
I couldn't wait to get rid of him, and now he's 6 home runs in 10 games for the Yankees. And my gold medal goes to Steph Curry, who had 43 points the other night in that Game 4 game. I'm starting to think that Kevin Durant, everyone talks about Kevin going to Golden State and is like, oh, it's not fair. They added Kevin Durant. I'm starting to think that Steph Curry was the alpha dog on that team, and Kevin Durant went to go play because he wanted to go play with Steph Curry.
Guess who got him the ball? How did Kevin Durant become the NBA Finals MVP?
Oh,
because Steph Curry gave him the ball.
Gave it up to him. Yeah, that's right.
I gave Steph Curry his value. I had written in my notes when we were talking about this, you can't measure his value. because he's going to beat you so many different ways. Getting the ball to Klay Thompson, or at that point Kevin Durant, or taking it upon himself like he did in Game 4 to win the game in the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what he did. He willed another 30-plus performance, and he willed that team to 2-2. There's no doubt about it.
7 3-pointers, too. Unbelievable.
That's your gold?
That's it for me, yes.
All right, my rust is, and we're about to talk with Paul Rogers about that, my rust is to the Triple Crown. Once again, not every race had a favorite that won. Not one race, I should say. No horse ran in all 3 races. The system has to be redone. There's no doubt about that. Triple Crown has to be rethought. They get a rush from me. 8 horse, they went from 22 in the Derby to 8 in the Belmont. Your rust real quick?
My quick rust is Formula One, obviously. Both Ferraris did not finish yesterday. Red Bull took first and second. Ferraris had a rough go of it the past few weeks, looking to bounce back after 2 did not finishes.
We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. I got to go see them this week. I need a new net for my pole. They gave me a great pole, but the net won't fit on there. I got to figure that out. But they always figure it out for me, and they've got the vacation at home sale. Here's the thing. They work with you. They come and they take care of you, whether that's for a play gym or a trampoline, which are now safe because they have that netting, that mesh netting that holds you in. Kids love it. Hot tubs in stock, ready to go. If you are one of those guys that can set things up, pick it up yourself, save $500, save $1,000 and $1,500 if you were to do the same thing with an above-ground pool. The patio furniture, all state-of-the-art, in stock, ready to go. We are spending more time in our backyard. Maybe not today because it's so hot, but the vacation at home sale is hot at Family Leisure. Our title sponsors, Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Some months they get a lot of cars in. Other months they don't get that many. Here's the thing. A lot of dealerships, they go with the law of supply and demand. We know there's a shortage of chips. We know there is a short supply of new cars. And because of that, some guys take advantage. That'll never happen. Chris True will tell you straight out, you'll never pay more than sticker price. At the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78, you'll never pay more than sticker price at Homer Skelton Hyundai. To Louisville we go. Tell me, Paul, you've watched Triple Crown Racing and the Derby for your whole life. Is there a crisis here? You go from 22 in the Derby to 8 in the Belmont. Not one horse ran all 3 races. Different winner each time. That's 4 years in a row. First time since 26 to 29 that has occurred. I mean, it's crazy. 100 years just about. Is the sport in a bad spot? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, the sport has been struggling with a number of issues for quite a while. As for this particular issue, I still think the Triple Crown is alive and well. There are never big fields at the Belmont Stakes. It's typically an 8 to 10 horse race. It always has been. It's 1.5 miles. It's not a distance many horses are comfortable with. You are having, obviously, the issue that's been talked about more and more each year, seemingly for the last 20 years, that is the spacing of the races and the fact that very few are running in all 3 and not even that many in just 2 of the 3. Bottom line was it was a quality field and a really good race on a day that was filled with fantastic racing. If you're a thoroughbred racing fan, Saturday was a really blockbuster day of racing. And the Belmont had a worthy winner. Mo Donegal, looking back after he won, of course, what we always do, you say, what I miss?
Right.
He really ran a good race in the Derby. He was actually back with Rich Strike, and while Rich Strike came through on the inside, he had to go very, very wide and was closing strong to be 5th in the Derby, and then skipped the Preakness and came back and had a good run Saturday. Rich Strike never fired. The pace in the Belmont was not near what the pace in the Derby was. He really took advantage of that early pace meltdown in the Derby, and that didn't happen in this race. Plus, he was going wide and not through on the inside. So Anyway, long-winded answer is I think the Belmont was a solid race, a good race, an exciting day of racing. But thoroughbred racing has bigger issues right now than just the Belmont and just the Triple Crown. It's a matter of fewer horses are racing. Seemingly, all of the really good horses are going to a select number of trainers, and there's a lot to be worked out in that regard.
Well, I look at this. I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong here. Rich Strike wins the Derby, great story, and then skips the Preakness. I don't remember that ever happening. Then early voting wins the Preakness, wasn't in the Derby, and doesn't even try to go to Belmont. Maybe that's the length of the race and the breeding. I kind of get that one. And then, Mo Donegal had been in had been in the Derby. Epicenter, which was second in, I think it was Epicenter, right? That was first and second in both the Derby and the Preakness, doesn't even go to the Belmont. How can that be good when, look, guys like me, you watch it all the time, guys like me, and probably 80% of the population that are sports fans watch these three races. You would think that the industry would go, we've got to have a show for these three races because we got eyeballs, and that's not what is going on.
Well, it's not, and that's been the problem more so and more so in the last 20 years or so, with horses just not racing as frequently. I was going back, I was listening to some old derbies a few weeks ago, and there were horses coming into the Derby who had 10, 15 races in their careers. Now they come into the Derby with if you have 10, that would be a ton. They'll have anywhere from 4 to 6 races going into the Derby. Horses just aren't racing as much nor as frequently, and that makes the Triple Crown under its current structure a difficult thing for horses and trainers to adjust to. Rich Strike, for example, was a horse who just does not train or race on that type of schedule, and so it didn't fit for him, and it's more and more that are coming that way, and that's why I think, and I've been slow to come around to this, I talked to you about it last time, I think we may be getting closer to spacing out the 3 races to a month apart, which accommodates those people, and while old liners like me don't really like it in some ways, in another way, if you race once a month, you might wind up with better fields in the 3 Triple Crown races, and maybe that's the direction we're going to see it go.
Well, I think you got to go that way. Hate to say it, but just the fact that Rich Strike, come on, and doesn't even go to the Preakness or try, and they base it on his past schedule. That tells you that you've got to change. The only thing that I have trepidation with that would be you're going to go, wait a second, this horse now wins the Triple Crown over a 3-month period, whereas the true Triple Crown was a horse that had the ability and the endurance to do it in 5 weeks. But I think we've got to accommodate the new world.
Well, it's like every sport changing with the times when you tweak your rules and do different things to accommodate the modern way of doing things. And it might just be pretty close to getting the point where the Triple Crown is going to do that. I don't have any inside information on that. I'm just telling you, I'm an example of an old timer who didn't ever want to consider it, who now is considering it, and I kind of feel like that's the direction it's going.
All right, so out of Mo Donegal, early voting, Rich Strike, which of those 3 horses do you think is the best that will continue to race?
I would probably have to go with Mo Donegal based on what he has accomplished and what his potential looks like. I think the others certainly have ability. I think Rich Strike was probably more. I still think he's a capable horse. I think he had things didn't go his way Saturday, but I don't think he's ever going to be a consistent winner. I think Mo Donegal could be. He won the Wood Memorial, a prestigious Derby prep. He ran a respectable Derby. He won the Belmont. So of the 3, he's the one that I would go with. And
Rich Strike, just a bad strategy yesterday.
Yeah, I was surprised when I heard. We all saw what he did in the Derby, and they said. And now, first off, he was victimized by the slower pace in the Belmont. I understand that part of it, but they said they wanted to keep him out wide and teach him to go around horses. And that seemed a little odd to me, to use the Belmont for a teaching tool.
Right.
I would think you would have kept him down on the rail where he likes to go and see what kind of run he could come up with. And he still might not have, because you didn't have that real fast pace up front. But I would prefer to have seen him down on the inside in the Belmont.
We're talking with Paul Rogers, our friend, our analyst of the Triple Crown. Last thing, and it has nothing to do with that. We got to switch gears. We got to talk Louisville Cardinals, Memphis Tigers. There is a real effort going on by Penny to start a home-and-home series this year with you guys. I think Penny needs a home game. I don't know if that'll be an impediment to doing this thing with Kenny Payne, because I think we're starting an Arkansas series that would start on the road. So he needs a big home game. Do you think this could happen?
I think it could. Kenny Payne seems very willing to talk about these big rivalry games. They've talked about getting Indiana back on the schedule. Of course, they have Kentucky.
Right.
He's talked about Memphis. I don't know if it can happen this year. I don't know all that about where and when they need games right now with the schedule. But I think Kenny Payne is very open to those kinds of things. After all, he played back in the Louisville-Memphis heyday. He knows what it's all about. He knows what the fans like. He knows what the players like. And I think he would be very open to the idea of somewhere down the road, if not this year, certainly, hopefully in the not-too-distant future.
I really hope that. Man, we'll have a good night the night before. I can promise that.
Yes, sir. You know where I'm going to go. You'll see me at the oh, gosh, I've been so long in there, I forgot the name of it. Where's my rib place I like there on the corner?
Rendezvous?
Not the Rendezvous.
Corky's, Central Barbecue, Germantown Commissary, my guys.
Still haven't got it. I'll think of it as soon as we hang up the phone. It's right there off of, it's near Beale.
Near Beale.
What am I thinking? It might be on Beale. The daggone it. I should have never started this thought.
Wow.
I've gone completely blank.
I can't think of which one you might be thinking of.
Well, we'll both think of it as soon as we hang up this conversation, I'm sure.
You'll text me.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
As soon as this series gets announced, you're on, okay?
Okay.
We'll put you back on. Thank you. Hope your golf game is good.
Okay, see ya.
All right, thank you. That's Paul Rogers, our friend, the voice of the Cardinals, and our analyst for the Triple Crown. It's hot. It is really hot today. It's going to feel like somebody was telling me somewhere between 112 and 120 degrees today at various points because of the humidity. That's the feel like. Crazy hot. Is your air conditioning system ready? Mine is. You know why? I got the super tune-up from Conway. I always do. I get 2 a year because I'm in the Comfort Club. You could do that, or you can just spend $69, and you can get that tune-up right now, and it goes a long way. The $69 includes that 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up inside. Then they go outside. They clean those outside units, get all the dirt and the leaf and the grimes. All that gets taken care of, like taking your system to the car wash. That's how good a job they do with that. And then they will check, final thing, for a Freon leak and make sure your levels are good. That's what they do with this summer tune-up, and you need it. It'll make sure your system lasts longer, and it's efficient, which means your MLGW bill goes down. All you got to do is call 384-3511. That's the number for the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service. And, of course, they're famous for the tune-up. You got to get it from Conway. Back in just a minute, to Tampa we go. The gloating T.J. Reeves, because his Lightning are in the finals once again. He comes your way in a minute.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm here with Kyle Storms from Big Green Egg. Kyle, I hear people all the time say how they love their Big Green Egg, but what makes a Big Green Egg so great?
Thanks, Stats. The fact that our grill is made out of the highest quality ceramic allows our customers to smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all while locking in the most amount of heat and flavor in their favorite foods.
What kind of fuel does the Big Green Egg use?
100% natural lumpwood charcoal. That's really where half our flavor comes from.
How many sizes does the Big Green Egg come in?
We have 7 different sizes and all different configurations ranging from metal stands, wood tables, and metal carts with a lifetime warranty. So we really do have a size and price point for everyone.
Where can someone go to see the entire lineup of Big Green Egg?
Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, East Memphis Ace, and Cordova Ace Hardware.
I tend to second-guess dinners with friends because they're often interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit Creon.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON.com.
It's time for the 64th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, running Sunday, June 19th through Saturday, June 25th. The top 10 winners of the week-long Carnival Cup will get a chance to win $1 million. Golfers will also have a chance to win $25,000 toward the purchase of a vehicle from City Auto. There'll be the popular children's golf Saturday from 2 to 4. There'll also be nightly cornhole tournaments and, of course, carnival rides Friday and Saturday nights. It's a week of great food and family fun, all at St. Louis Catholic Church, 203 South White Station Road.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We're playing golf in the heat today. It's the Tiger Sports Properties golf tournament at Timber Trussos. Here's our friend John going. And it's going to be hot. Afterwards, I'll tell you what I hope he's got there for all of us that are finishing this event. I hope he's got a Poppy's Pils. That's the Pilsner, locally made from the good folks at Grind City. It is light, crisp. It is refreshing. It's a Pilsner that if you're hot and thirsty and even tired, it just uplifts you. I promise you, it's ultra crushable. That's what my son likes to say about it. You can get it in 6-packs or even in 15-packs. It is distributed throughout the city, places like the Spirit Shop. They have it at Poplar and St. Nick. It is best enjoyed ice cold, especially today. I hope, John Goen, you got some Poppy's Pils, what the doctor ordered, that great Pilsner from Grind City after this thing today. So Paul Rogers texted me. He was thinking about Blues City Cafe, which is not a barbecue shop.
But delicious.
But incredible. And they do have great ribs. That's Kevin Kane's place with Wilbur. They do such a good job. They have great steaks, great tamales, really good stuff. No doubt, great restaurant. But it is not a barbecue shop, but with those wonderful ribs for sure. To Tampa we go. The man is gloating. He's as arrogant as I've ever heard him when it comes to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Good morning, TJ Reeves.
Well, first of all, good to be with you. Settle down a little bit about gloating as much as ever. Hang on a sec, because I just need to know, how hot is it? Because here it's like 100 with the heat index at 8 o'clock in the morning. Have we gotten that bad yet in the River City, or what's the deal?
It is 90 today, a high of 98 that's going to feel like 120.
Woo! Woo! All right, so I am reminiscing. You will remember this when you were doing the morning show with Peter.
Yeah.
Which is now about 7 years ago. Remember, I brought you donuts that morning in July.
Yeah.
Came in the studio with you.
Yeah.
And later that
from
day,
Gibson Donuts, yeah.
Right, we got the Gibson Donuts. We brought them by request to you. I come to the show, and you're not feeding me, I'm feeding you. But nonetheless, later in the day, we went to the zoo.
Yes.
The Memphis Zoo.
Yes, I remember.
That may be the hottest I have ever been, maybe in my life, including living in Florida, including visiting Las Vegas, because it was at least 110 with the heat index. At the is it the Overton? They used to call it the Overton Park Zoo. What is it now called? Is it called just the Memphis Zoo?
It's called the Memphis Zoo in Overton Park.
In Overton Park.
Yeah. Which,
the
by
tiger,
the way, Yeah.
The tiger was up to his neck in the moat. He was smart. He was laying in the water because it was so stinking hot.
So you went that day with your twins.
That's correct.
Now your twins are rising freshmen, teenage girls. There's no way you could get them on a hot day like that to go to the zoo. No way.
That would not be possible because they would have veto power at the older age now of 14. They're about to be 14. They're incoming freshmen into high school. I joke with you, they're not going to just any ordinary named high school. They're going to George M. Steinbrenner High School, as in the boss, as in the former Yankees colorful owner for 35 or 40 years.
Do they have classes there on how to be cranky?
Or how to fire people? Or how to trade people?
Yeah, exactly.
Or tirades?
Yeah.
But the boss did so many things from philanthropy and giving and money and whatever. They obviously, he is revered here. And obviously the Yankees ended up winning a whole bunch at the end of his tenure as the owner. And now the family, the sons have it, et cetera. My point is, we might have to get you and J-Mo some swag from Steinbrenner High School because the Twins are incoming freshmen at Steinbrenner High School right now for the upcoming school year. So how about that?
That is very cool. All right, let's talk about what you texted me was the dynasty. When's the last three-peat of any major sport?
That would be the Lakers, 2000, 2001, 2002 in the NBA. Of the big four sports, that's the last three-peat. The Patriots won back-to-back Super Bowls with that Tom Brady guy that we now have here in Tampa Bay, but they did not get the third one in a row. Major League Baseball has not had anybody get the three-peat going back to the Yankees again. The Steinbrenner Yankees of 98, 99, and 2000 is the last three-peat. And the last hockey three-peat or more is the New York Islanders winning 4 in a row in the early 80s. So you are talking about rarefied air right now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And speaking of the rarefied air, they're headed to the rarefied air of Denver, Colorado to play games 1 and 2 coming this week. But this is wild, historic stuff that is going on right now. You cannot overstate it.
Just so you know.
Yes.
I'm not making this stuff up. I look on my app. And I can tell you clearly that in this series, starting on Wednesday night, which begins in Denver, and for some reason it won't come up at the moment, but I know the Avalanche are the favorites.
Right. Means nothing. The Lightning weren't the favorites in any of these three series.
Minus 165, by the way. The Avalanche are minus 165, which is a pretty decent amount. They're pretty good favorites in this. By the way, they were the pre-Stanley Cup tournament favorites.
And you were gloating to me that you picked them before this began to win the whole thing.
Yes, I did.
But refresh me, you had the Lightning losing 2 rounds ago. Am I correct?
I did. I had them losing.
Sadly mistaken on the Tampa Bay Lightning making it to this point.
I had them losing to Florida, the regular season best record.
That's right. And they got broomed. And J-Mo has still got a black armband on 3 weeks later from the Florida Panthers being groomed in 4 straight games.
Let me just tell you something. Don't even listen to J-Mo. He gave a medal today to the New York Rangers.
Heck of a season.
That ended up losing 4 in a row, and he's giving them a medal.
Yeah, they're going to hang a banner, J-Mo, in the Garden because they can't hang them for championships anymore that says, "We beat the Lightning the first 2 games."
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah.
That'll be their banner for this year. The amount of New York people that I was hearing from a week and a half ago after those first 2 wins, media members, fans that live around here of all the New York teams that live in Tampa Bay, New York people that I know, Rangers this, Rangers that, 2-time champs, we're going to end it. We're gonna
they're starting to sound.
It's a funeral for the Lightning.
They're starting to sound like you, Champa Bay. Every second that
J-Mo,
you
I don't know
can,
if you have the sound effects of crickets. Do you have the cricket sound effects? Because the Ranger fans have been crickets for the last about 72 hours. Can't find them. They're in witness protection. Where'd they all go? Where did they all go?
They went
next year.
They went the same place the Knicks fans have been for 30 years.
That's exactly right. I mean, when you contemplate, the Rangers have one championship, in 80-plus years of hockey. It's 1994, the one they keep showing with Mark Messier in the Cup. That's the one. The Knicks don't have a championship since 1971. 1971, 51 years ago.
Let me ask you
needless
this.
to say, it's been dry for a while.
If the Avalanche, the favorites to win the Cup, if they knock off the Lightning, will you be humbled just a bit?
Probably, but, I mean, they're in a Stanley Cup final for the third time in a row, having won the previous two, and that has not happened in 40 years of NHL play. So, obviously, everybody in this area is thrilled that they have gotten there. Now go finish it off. You're talking about all-time stuff. They're going to do a 30 for 30 documentary if they finish this off, because it will have began in the bubble in both Toronto and Edmonton, Ontario, Canada, 2 years ago, continued through last year, continued through this year for a three-peat. It's amazing stuff that's going on. So the hockey team has gripped the area.
Even if they didn't win this year and they keep the nucleus of this team together, they could conceivably equal what Edmonton did, which was win 4 in 5 years, or my Blackhawks with Patrick Kane. I got Kevin Kane on the brain today.
Jonathan Toews, I'll help you out. Those different guys. Yes.
Thank you. And I love Toews. Anyway, they won 3 in 5 years.
They
got
one of those at the expense of the Lightning, by the way, in 2015.
I know
beat the Lightning.
I do
remember. In 2015, the year that I was there getting you donuts and bringing you donuts into the studio. So, all right, so I know you want to move on real quick to one other thing, but at least in terms of the hockey, though, the Lightning aren't intimidated by going to play in Colorado for the first 2 games. I mean, they have repeatedly stolen home ice advantage in these playoffs over and over again, beat the Panthers in the first 2, beat Toronto in one of the first 2 games, repeatedly stole home ice advantage in the playoffs last year. So it doesn't bother them right now that everybody's saying Colorado should be the favorite.
Well, they've not had to play yet in elevation. We'll see what they do
All
with
right.
that. All right. Last thing. The comments yesterday on CBS to Jim Nance by Commissioner Jay Monahan of the PGA, which I thought were insightful. I can't say that I blame him for taking the tact that he's taken, because in the end, he's running a business that has a financial model where you've got to make money. And the Saudis can spend and spend and spend, and they're never going to run out of money. It makes no fiscal sense. It's not going to make money. He can't do that. He knows that. But he is right, I think, when he labels the LIV as a series of exhibition matches, because all these guys are paid up front.
Well, true. I mean, he can try to slander it or insult it any way as possible right now, but the second shoe that's about to drop is several more prominent players besides Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick Reed are going to go play in these different matches, whether you're calling them exhibitions or a tour or whatever it is.
Who are they? Are they Rory McIlroy?
There are names that are floating. Well, McIlroy's not one of the names.
Are they
names
Colin Morikawa?
Are
they Justin Thomas?
I don't know. It's either one of those two names, but the name Bubba Watson is right.
Is Bubba Watson going to really win? There's another guy. There's another washed-up guy. Who else?
I don't know how washed up he is. He's been in contention. He's won recently on the PGA Tour, and I think he was in contention, if I'm not mistaken. Was he not in contention at the Masters and the Players Championship? One of them, I think. But anyway, in any event.
And he folded very badly down the end because he's in his 30s and
he's in his late 30s, right.
I don't think that's a big loss at this point. Look, I think the Saudi threat is real. Don't get me wrong. And I don't really know exactly what the commissioner can do. I think eventually he's going to try to figure out a compromise.
I can tell you that's exactly what this is about.
Yeah.
This is about numerous ones of them going to the other tour, and despite all the threats and you're suspended and whatever, they're going to realize this is a real threat to us, and we now have to have the conversation that they wanted us to have before they ever left and did this on how do we improve the PGA Tour and what else we do. And then again, maybe we've gone beyond that. Maybe for a lot of these guys, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, and the ones that have signed on, DeChambeau now, Patrick Reed.
You know what?
They're
That's
past
the
point
one
of no
guy.
return.
DeChambeau is the one guy who is in his prime.
Yes.
That, even though he's been injured, hasn't won much at all in the last year and a quarter. But he's the one guy I do think is a loss to the PGA Tour. Patrick Reed is a
You
loss
don't consider
because you
Dustin
like
Johnson. Wait. Back up. You don't consider Dustin Johnson a loss to the PGA Tour?
I don't in this respect. I think he's the best player that they've signed because he should probably win every week.
He won the Masters a year and a half ago.
I know
He's got like 30 wins. He's got a couple of majors. He's got a U.S. Open
how
win.
old is he? I mean, let's face it.
He's only 30.
His value was only $125 million to the Saudis.
But
they paid $200 million for a 51-year-old Mickelson.
That is a huge blow. No way to spend it to the PGA Tour that he's not going to play at your events if you're the PGA Tour. That's a huge blow. If DeChambeau is healthy, that's a blow as well because that's a guy that people love to hate.
I agree with that. DJ, you can make a case. DJ's the best player they probably got at this point, at least that has the potential to still win, but he's definitely past his prime. You're not talking about a guy who's and the Saudis are going to do this next. They're going to go after the U.S. amateur champion that's a collegiate guy. That they're going to say, you don't have to worry about getting eligibility. We'll pay you $1 million to sign, and you're guaranteed on making these 8 events.
That's right.
And you're going to make, at the worst, what is it, 150 the loser gets?
Something like that, 125, 150.
Right.
Yep.
So you do the math. If you play in all 8, if you're guaranteed all 8, and let's say they gave you $1 million to sign and you're guaranteed to play in that's another $1 million. That's $2 million to play, as the commissioner said, in exhibition golf.
All right, and one more point on this because McIlroy took the shot at Greg Norman yesterday by saying, hey, I've got 21 wins. That gets me off the tie with somebody else, meaning Norman, and the 20 wins that he has. But these guys have understood for the longest time they play when they want to play. They show up at the events they want to show up to, and that's the premise right now with the LIV Golf Series and the Saudi Golf League. They are choosing to play somewhere else. And the other part for Jay Monahan here, which his hands are tied, he can't do anything about this. They don't control the majors. And if you're the USGA in particular, if you're the PGA of America, and your event, your men's event sustains you, that is your lifeblood from an advertising standpoint and an interest standpoint, how are you going to tell numerous guys that would have impact on your event and the field and the ticket sales and the television ratings, no, we don't want you to play because the PGA Tour has a problem with what you're doing. You've got to be concerned about your event, and that's why the USGA was smart here in the short term while these shots are being fired every which direction, when the figurative cannonballs are flying over everybody's bow here. The USGA spoke up last week and said, how do we tell these guys that are already qualified you can't play in the tournament? They qualified.
Right.
They qualified and will be there.
But what will they do in the future? That will be interesting. Yeah. What will Augusta National do? I don't know.
That's a different one. That's a different one because
that's
an invitational. It's private and they're self-sufficient and they have tons of money.
Here's the other problem they got. Because they say if you win, you've got eligibility. Right. And both Reed and DJ have won green jackets, so they're eligible. So it'll be interesting.
And so is Phil Mickelson, by the way. And and so is Charles Schwartzel, who won the first LIV Golf Series event. How do you say no if this number if it becomes Bubba Watson? If the number becomes 7 or 8 guys, you want to say no to all of them? If you're Augusta, that's a great question.
It really is. Always good stuff. Thank you, my friend. Go Avs. We'll talk to you later.
Go Bolts. 3 leave is the phrase down here on the shirts and the billboards and the TV ads. 3 leaves. 3 leave is coming. You guys be well.
Bye. That's our friend. TJ Reeves, he loves golf. I know he loves Miramichi. He's played it with me. 330 acres of beauty, full 7,400 yards. If you want to go all the way back, that would make for one tough round, but you can go to 6,300 like I do. You can go up to 5,500. They've got a tee box for you. There's natural beauty everywhere. 330 acres with the back 9 like a walk in the woods. It is absolutely gorgeous. I played it on Saturday. I'm telling you, it is really coming into shape. It's gorgeous. There's just no way around it. And then they got people outside now on the terrace, even though it's a little warm today. I promise you it is such a great view. The perfect place to go drink a Poppy's Pills is that site right after you're done. It overlooks the lush course 9 and 18, a beautiful pond. It's just a great place for like charity golf tournaments, anything you want. Miramichi is the place. Go to Miramichi.com. You can learn more about maybe hosting your next event at a wonderful place. We pause for a second. More golf on the docket. Ted Butler joins us in just a minute.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Your favorite Italian deli, Lucchese's, now ships. For over 25 years, Memphis has trusted Lucchese's to feed their loved ones. And now they've created 4 great comfort food meals that can be shipped across the country to your family and friends. Enjoy lasagna, ravioli, tortellini, spaghetti, Italian spinach, and delicious sauces with no MSGs, no preservatives, and no artificial colors. Lucchese's can ship anywhere in the U.S. All you need to do is go online to lucchese's.com to place your order or call 901-766-9922.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Barden Stone has been serving the Mid-South area for over 3 generations. What sets them apart and makes them a unique landscape stone center? They have one of the largest selections with a wide variety of colors and sizes, all the way from cobblestones to garden rock and pebbles from ground cover, plus fieldstone and flagstone, stepping stones and stacking stones, even landscape boulders. In addition to a wide variety of stones and rocks, Barden Stone staff is very knowledgeable. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or design professional, Barden Stone can answer any question pertaining to the use of stones from A to Z. Barden Stone, they know stone inside and out. Barden Stone, 1 mile south of Park at 1557 Cherry Road. Barden Stone, open for you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Call 901-683-8264 and visit Barden Stone.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
I just saw on Twitter this great video of KO, the big man the U of M just signed, without any effort. The guy takes like 4 steps, jumps up, and touches with like half of his hand the top of the backboard, not the rim, the top of the backboard. That is incredible. No signings this weekend, so who knows about Kerwin Walton. I guess we'll have to wait and see about that. Tiger football got 3 commitments, though, including a 3-star quarterback. So that's the class of 2023. Ryan Silverfield has certainly been busy. It was a busy weekend with 2 different tournaments going on in the world of golf. The commissioner firing off some salvos against the LIV. Charles Schwartzel winning there. Rory McIlroy winning the Canadian Open. And Ted Butler told me, of course, this is 2020 hindsight, but I believe him. He said, we didn't get to it last week, but he thought Rory McIlroy was going to win the Canadian Open. And he defends his title. How about that, Ted Butler? Good morning.
Well, good morning. He was about due. You know, he's been playing pretty good golf for a while, and that final round at Augusta, I think, really pumped him up. But he made the tournament exciting yesterday, you know, missing those 2-foot putts and then birdieing the last 2 holes to win with Finau and Thomas. That was really great golf.
I will say this. His iron play was nothing short of sensational. I don't know how many putts inside 10 feet he ended up with because of incredible iron strikes. And I will say this, Tony Finau, his driving is amazing. He's not a great putter either, though, you know?
Hard to have it all.
It is.
But it is incredible, though, how far. I mean, Rory hit, 367 on the 18th hole?
Yes.
And they're hitting 8 irons on 208-yard par threes now. Well, what kind of air is in Canada?
It's Toronto.
I mean,
It's not even in elevation. They're not even. That's not elevation there.
How do you hit an 8 iron 208 yards?
You ought to know club head speed, baby.
I don't know. Dottie Pepper said, "Well, there's a little breeze behind him."
And
like that's going to do it, right?
Well, Tony Finau has the shortest backswing. It's like Rahm. I don't know how they generate club head speed with that short of backswing.
Well, he's got really long arms. He's got giant hands and really, really fast hips. He and Rahm, their hip turn through impact is so fast. It's like Tiger was, that they just kill it. You know, you don't need a big backswing.
All right, so I'm not going to forget this week. We have the U.S. Open coming up. It is in Massachusetts at the Club of Brookline, which is right outside of Boston. Rory McIlroy has won a major by winning the week before, so this would not be a precedent. Is he your guy?
I think he is. For the last few weeks and months, actually, been watching him, and if he can get to the point where, like he did yesterday, and hit those short irons, because that's not been a strong point, but he's hitting them all within 10 feet now, like you said, and he's made some really long putts. If he gets to making the short ones, he's going to be awfully hard to beat. And Brookline's a really hard golf course. It's different from most courses they play, but the final group could be the same as this week with JT and Finau. JT is, he's right there.
Well, he won the PGA. What makes this golf course different? Is it a typical U.S. Open where it's very, very treacherous with the way they set it up with rough and also very thin fairways?
Yeah, and the design of the golf course, they've got all these strange-looking holes when you go back into the woods that they're not used to seeing, these sharp dog legs and uphill, downhill slopes and everything. It's a really unique golf course that most of the tour players probably hadn't even played there yet.
All right, let me move to the LIV tournament in London. Charles Schwartzel, I think that's the first time he's won in like 4 years. The commissioner, Jay Monahan, called it an exhibition, a series of exhibitions, these 8 events they're going to play. What is your take on all this?
Well, I agree with him. I have a hard time figuring out the incentive for the named players, Phil and Dustin Johnson, to work on their games when they've been given $200 million just to join. I mean, why go practice? Who cares? Doesn't matter what you shoot. Phil finished 40th, shot 10 over par.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I just don't get it. And there are a lot of guys at the end of their career, a few new guys, but the real players are going to keep coming to the PGA Tour. I mean, too much legacy, too much.
I don't know.
Prestige.
Let me. Here's where I worry. There are going to be more announcements. Bubba Watson's name is out there as a guy that could defect. DJ is obviously one of the bigger names already, and DeChambeau, he's probably the biggest draw name of all of them, either he or DJ. Phil, we know, is well past his prime, but what if they go after the U.S. amateur champion, who's a junior in college, is nowhere near any kind of eligibility on the PGA Tour, would have to go through the 8 exemptions that you get and hope to make enough money, or then you could be down in the Corn Ferry or even worse. And you're offered $1 million, and by the way, if you play in the 8 events, you're guaranteed $1 million because it's $125,000 for last place. What do you do then? I mean, what if you're a player like that? What are you going to say?
He's probably going to say yes. I mean, it'd be hard to turn it down. I mean, it depends on where you're trying to go in golf. What is your legacy going to be? Or are you anywhere near like Tiger and Rory and the great players in the world. He's going to go there and beat a bunch of guys that are past their prime. Even Bubba. I mean, he's on the edge of his prime.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I don't see the attraction for watching that or any interest in it at all, other than the guys just sitting there laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. Do you think Phil or DJ get booed in Brookline this week?
Yeah, I do. And I think Phil has zero chance of making the cut. I mean, he hadn't been playing. He played terrible over at the Live. DJ's not the most popular guy on the tour anyway. He's not much fun to watch. But I'm sure in that area of the country there'll be some boos, and the hangers on that still like Phil. I don't know who they are. There's gonna be 10 of them anyway.
All right, last thing, we got the Curtis Cup. Rachel Heck in there. Rachel has actually become the second best amateur to her teammate at Stanford.
Right.
That girl's incredible.
Roseanne, right?
Yeah, Roseanne. Are both of them on the Curtis Cup team, the American team that goes and takes on the British amateurs?
Yes. Rose was number 1 ranked, and Rachel's number 4 ranked, and they're both on the same team. And they won the matches 15.5 to 4.5. I mean, they killed them, and it was so much fun for me to watch them play because they're playing at Marion. And I texted Rachel. I said, "It's so much fun watching you play the same holes I played 51 years ago."
That's great. That is great. So how did she play in that? Because she, in the
She was
NCAAs, she did not play well in the Augusta thing, but she'd been sick apparently. That she didn't get to play that much this year.
She had mono.
Yeah.
And she was out for like a month where she couldn't hardly do anything and still trying to get her strength back. But she was 3-0-1 this weekend. She played.
Wow.
She played great. Didn't lose a match. Oh, lost one match. No, tied one match. I'm sorry.
3-0-1.
Yeah.
That's 7 points right there,
great.
buddy. That's 7 points. That's fantastic. I only wish her the best. That's for sure. All right, my friend.
Rory.
So it's Rory. You're going with Rory. Okay.
I'm going with Rory.
I think that's very possible. I truly do. We appreciate it.
He's got things to prove, like his 21st victory over the other guy who won 20.
I know. I love that.
Greg Norman.
He was taking shots at Norman all the way. I loved it. I loved it.
Love it too.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. We'll talk next Monday.
Okay, Dave.
That is Ted Butler on golf. That is always fun for us to chat. By the way, we had guests over the weekend, like many of you. I'm out. I have to go to the Spirit Shop, and I've got to replenish. Eddie Connor, I'm coming. You should go there, too, if you're looking for anything in this heat. The Grind City stuff, like the Poppy's Pills or the Tiger Top, they got that there. They got, you want local? They've got Old Dominic Spirits in the house. They got any kind of valuable bourbon or tequila or any vodka that you want. They've got it all. They've got the best of the bargains. That's there, too. Same thing with wines. You might want a wine that might come from 1995, and Eddie's had it all that time. He's got the same price tag on it. It's gone way up in price, but he doesn't change it. It's the place to go. You want to rub for a drink, something to put on your rim? They got that. They got everything at the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. We thank Ted Butler and Paul Rogers and, of course, TJ Reeves. We'll be back again tomorrow morning, and we'll talk the Celtics and the Warriors. Have a good day, everybody.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash